Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a vast, boundless ocean. The waves rise and fall, but the depths remain undisturbed. This ocean is your inner self, infinite and powerful. Yet, so often we forget to explore its depths, instead choosing to sail the shallow waters of comparison and external focus. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, not just to see your reflection, but to truly observe yourself, the depths of your being, the desires that stir within, and the thoughts that shape your reality. The act of turning inward, of delving into the silence of your own soul, is the most profound journey you can undertake. This journey is what we call inner reflection, and it holds the key to unlocking your greatest potential. It is not an escape from the world, but a rediscovery of the power that has always been within you. Through reflection, you begin to understand that your life is not shaped by the opinions of others or the circumstances you find yourself in. Instead, it is shaped by your beliefs, your emotions, and the thoughts you entertain most frequently. You are the architect of your reality, and inner reflection is the blueprint. It allows you to see the patterns in your thinking that have created your current experience. Perhaps you have been carrying limiting beliefs, thoughts of unworthiness, fear, or doubt that have kept you from stepping into your power. Reflection brings these beliefs to the surface, not to shame or condemn you, but to give you the opportunity to release them. The process of inner reflection requires courage. It asks you to confront not only your dreams but also your fears and insecurities. It is tempting to look away, to distract yourself with the busyness of life. But true growth comes from facing yourself honestly and with compassion. In doing so, you begin to see that your fears are not as overwhelming as they seemed. They are merely shadows cast by the light of your awareness. Once you shine that light on them, they begin to dissolve. Inner reflection is not a one-time event but a continual practice. Just as you would regularly care for your physical body, your inner world requires attention and nurturing. Take time each day to sit in silence, to ask yourself meaningful questions, and to listen deeply to the answers that arise. What do you truly want? What brings you joy? What beliefs are holding you back? These questions are doorways to understanding yourself on a deeper level. The more you practice, the clearer your path becomes. As you deepen your inner reflection, you will notice a shift in your outer reality. This is the miraculous nature of life. The outer world is a mirror of your inner state. When you cultivate peace within, your relationships become more harmonious. When you embrace abundance within, opportunities flow to you effortlessly. When you love yourself fully, you attract love from others. The world does not create you, you create the world you experience. Inner reflection empowers you to take full ownership of this creative process. One of the most beautiful gifts of inner reflection is the realization that you are enough, just as you are. You do not need to prove your worth or seek validation from others. The more you connect with your inner self, the more you see that your value is intrinsic. You are not defined by your achievements, your possessions, or your relationships. These things may enhance your life, but they do not determine your worth. Reflection helps you strip away these external layers and reconnect with the essence of who you are. In this space of reflection, you also discover that you are never truly alone. Within you lies a connection to something greater, a divine presence, an infinite intelligence, or simply the vastness of your own soul. This presence is always with you, guiding and supporting you, even in your darkest moments. When you feel lost or uncertain, turn inward. Trust that the answers you seek are already within you, waiting to be revealed. Inner reflection is not about perfection, it is about progress. The world may try to convince you that the judging yourself for where you are, but celebrating the courage it takes to look accumulation of wealth. Each step you take on this journey brings you closer to the life you desire. These pursuits, while they may bring temporary satisfaction, and as you grow, you can never fill the void within. The same. True fulfillment comes from knowing yourself, creates a ripple effect, from aligning with your touching the lives of those around, and from living authentically. Inner reflection is the compass that guides you back to this truth, time and time again. As you stand before the mirror of your own soul, embrace what you see. The journey inward is the most important journey you will ever take, for it leads you to the infinite power, wisdom, and love that reside within you. Focus on this, nurture it, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never imagined possible. In a world filled with constant connectivity and endless streams of information, it is easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. From the moment you wake up and check your phone to the interactions you have throughout the day, the lives of others are on display. Their successes, possessions, appearances, and even their curated moments of happiness seem to scream, "Look at me." It is a natural response to measure your own life against what you see. Yet this act of comparison is built on a foundation of illusion. The belief that someone else's journey has anything to do with your own is one of the greatest misconceptions we carry. The comparison is deceptive because it draws your attention outward, away from the only thing that truly matters, yourself. When you compare yourself to others, you are often comparing your behind-the-scenes struggles to their highlight reel. What you see of someone else's life is never the full picture. It is filtered, edited, and often exaggerated to create an image of perfection. But perfection itself is an illusion. No matter how flawless a person's life may seem, it is built on the same foundation of highs and lows, triumphs and challenges as yours. By comparing yourself to an incomplete and often distorted version of another's reality, you are setting yourself up for unnecessary pain and dissatisfaction. This illusion of external comparison thrives on insecurity. When you feel unsure of your own worth, it becomes tempting to look outward for validation. You seek confirmation that you are enough by measuring yourself against others. But this approach is flawed, for it assumes that your value can be quantified in relation to someone else's. It cannot. Your worth is inherent and independent of any external metric. No one else can diminish or enhance it. The act of comparing is like chasing a mirage. The closer you get, the further away it seems. Satisfaction through comparison is always out of reach. External comparison is a thief of joy. Imagine this: you achieve something you have worked hard for, something that once seemed impossible. But instead of celebrating your success, you compare it to someone else's. Suddenly, your achievement feels small, your effort insignificant. The joy you felt moments ago is replaced by doubt and envy. This is the cost of comparison. It robs you of the ability to appreciate your own journey. You deserve to celebrate your victories, no matter how they measure up to others. Your path is unique, and your growth is worth honoring. What makes comparison even more insidious is its ability to distract you from your purpose. When you focus on what others are doing, you lose sight of your own goals and desires. You begin to chase things that do not truly align with who you are, simply because they seem desirable in someone else's life. But what brings fulfillment to one person may bring emptiness to another. By trying to replicate someone else's success, you deny yourself the opportunity to create a life that is authentically yours. Comparison leads you away from your truth, while self-awareness brings you closer to it. To escape the illusion of external comparison, you must first understand that no two journeys are the same. Each person is walking their own path, shaped by their unique experiences, challenges, and desires. And you cannot compare your beginning to someone else's middle, or your middle to someone else's end. The timeline of your life is yours alone, and it unfolds at its own perfect pace. Trusting this process requires letting go of the need to measure your progress against others. Instead, focus on your own growth, your own milestones, and your own joy. Another way to free yourself from comparison is to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing others' successes as a reflection of your inadequacy, view them as inspiration. Celebrate their achievements as proof that what you desire is possible. Let their victories ignite a sense of possibility within you, rather than a sense of lack. When you shift from envy to admiration, you open yourself up to the abundance of life. There is enough success, love, and happiness to go around. Another person's light does not diminish your own, it only adds to the collective brilliance. It is also essential to cultivate gratitude. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, the need to compare begins to fade. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment and reminds you of the abundance already in your life. It shifts your attention from what is outside of you to what is within. The more you practice gratitude, the more you realize that you lack nothing. You are whole, complete, and capable of creating a life that fulfills you. Remember that your value does not come from what you have or how you appear to others. It comes from who you are at your core. No external comparison can ever define you. Let go of the illusion of external comparison. With gifts, talents, and qualities that no one else possesses. Release the need to measure your life against anyone else's. Your worth is not something to be proven, it is something to be embraced. The more you connect with this truth, the less power comparison will have over you. In doing so, you will discover that everything you have been searching for outside of you has been within you all along. Your path is yours and it is enough. You are enough. Imagine holding a magnifying glass under the sun. As the light passes through, it focuses into a single, powerful beam capable of igniting even the driest kindling. The scattered rays of the sun become concentrated energy, transforming into something extraordinary. This is a simple yet profound metaphor for your life. Energy flows where focus goes. Whatever you consistently direct your attention to, you empower and amplify. It becomes the force that shapes your experiences, your emotions, and ultimately your destiny. Your mind is a vast reservoir of creative energy, but much of this energy is wasted when it is dispersed. In every moment, you are surrounded by countless distractions, notifications, obligations, conversations, and thoughts pulling you in different directions. If your attention is scattered across these diversions, your energy becomes diluted, and your ability to create meaningful change diminishes. However, when you focus your thoughts, emotions, and actions toward a single intention, you align your energy like the concentrated beam of the magnifying glass, creating extraordinary outcomes. This is not merely wishful thinking, it is a law of the mind. Your thoughts and emotions act like seeds planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Whatever you water with your attention grows. If you focus on lack, scarcity will take root. If you focus on abundance, prosperity will bloom. The soil does not judge the seed, it simply nurtures whatever is planted. In the same way, your mind responds to your focus without question, cultivating whatever you consistently feed it. To harness this power, you must first become aware of where your focus is going. Take a moment to reflect on your daily thoughts. Are they consumed by negativity, doubt, or resentment? Or do they gravitate toward hope, love, and empowerment? Awareness is the first step to change. Once you understand where your attention has been flowing, you can redirect it toward what truly matters to you. Redirecting your focus requires intentionality. It is not enough to passively hope for better outcomes. You must actively choose where to direct your energy. Start by setting clear intentions. What do you want to create, experience, or achieve? Be specific. A vague focus leads to scattered energy, but clarity acts as a compass, guiding your thoughts and actions in alignment with your goals. As you set your intentions, it is essential to back them with unwavering belief. Energy flows most powerfully when it is supported by faith and conviction. Doubt creates resistance, scattering your energy and diluting your focus. Trust in the process, even if the results are not immediately visible. Just as a seed takes time to sprout, the manifestations of your focus require patience and persistence. Discipline is also a vital part of this practice. Your attention is like a muscle that needs regular exercise to grow stronger. The world is full of distractions that vie for your energy, tempting you to stray from your intentions. It is easy to fall into patterns of mindless scrolling, reactive emotions, or self-doubt. Discipline helps you reclaim your focus, redirecting your energy back to what truly matters. Emotions are another critical component of where your energy flows. Your feelings act as amplifiers, intensifying the power of your focus. When you pair your thoughts with emotions like gratitude, excitement, or love, you supercharge your energy. It is not enough to think positively, you must feel it deeply. Your emotions are the fuel that drives your focus forward, propelling your intentions into action. But focusing your energy is not just about achieving goals, it is also about transforming how you experience life. When you direct your attention toward the present moment, you tap into a profound sense of peace and joy. Many people live in a state of mental chaos, either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. but the present is where your true power lies. By focusing on the here and now, you reclaim your energy from the distractions of time, grounding yourself in the fullness of life. Remember, where your focus goes, energy flows, and where energy flows, life grows. This is not just a concept, it is a practice. Every thought you entertain, every feeling you cultivate, and every action you take sends ripples of energy into the universe. These ripples return to you in the form of experiences, opportunities, and outcomes. By consciously choosing where to direct your focus, you become the creator of your life, not a bystander. Your energy is your most valuable resource. Guard it, nurture it, and direct it wisely. When you master your focus, you master your life. The power is already within you, waiting to be claimed. Choose your focus with intention, and watch as your energy transforms your reality in ways beyond your imagination. The need for external validation is one of the most persistent traps of the human experience. From an early age, we are conditioned to seek approval from others' parents, teachers, friends, and even strangers. Society teaches us to measure our worth based on the applause we receive, the compliments we hear, and the recognition we achieve. Over time, this dependency can become a prison, silently dictating how we think, act, and feel. But true freedom begins when we detach from the need for external validation and recognize that our value is inherent, unshaken by the opinions of others. External validation is fleeting by nature. It can elevate you one moment and abandon you the next. If your sense of self is tied to the approval of others, you will constantly chase a moving target, never feeling secure or whole. People's opinions are as varied as the waves in the sea, changing with the tide of their own moods, experiences, and biases. Relying on such an unstable foundation for your self-worth ensures that you are always vulnerable to the whims of others. This is not a life of freedom, but one of dependence and uncertainty. The truth is that no one knows you better than you know yourself. The essence of who you are cannot be captured by someone else's judgment, no matter how well-intentioned or sincere it may seem. You carry within you the only measure of validation you will ever need, your own awareness of your inherent worth. When you detach from external validation, you begin to see that your value does not come from the applause you receive, but from the authenticity with which you live. To detach from external validation, you must first become aware of where it has taken root in your life. Pay attention to the subtle ways you seek approval. Do you adjust your words to gain favor in a conversation? Do you hesitate to share your true thoughts for fear of judgment? Do you find yourself feeling diminished when someone disapproves of your choices? These are signs that external validation is influencing you more than you may realize. Awareness is the first step toward breaking free. Once you are aware, begin to shift your focus inward. Ask yourself, what do I truly think about myself? What do I value? What brings me joy? These questions help you reconnect with your inner self, the part of you that remains untouched by external opinions. The more you focus on your inner world, the less power external validation will have over you. Your self-worth begins to anchor itself in your own truth, rather than the fleeting approval of others. Detachment from external validation also requires the courage to embrace your imperfections. Much of the need for validation stems from a fear of not being enough, smart enough, attractive enough, successful enough. Another powerful step perfection is an illusion,
self-compassion, and chasing
when you
it only
catch yourself
deepens the
craving
dependency
validation
on external
or
approval.
feeling hurt by criticism.
When you accept yourself
those
as you
moments
are,
with kindness,
with all
rather
your
than
flaws
judgment.
and strengths,
Remind
you create
yourself
a
that
solid
seeking
foundation
approval
of
is a
self-love.
conditioned response,
From
not
this
a
place of
reflection of your
acceptance,
true self.
the opinions of others
Treat
lose
yourself
their grip
as you
on
would a
you,
dear friend,
because you
with
no longer need
understanding,
them to feel
patience,
whole.
and encouragement. Self-compassion helps you break the cycle of self-doubt and strengthens your connection to your inner worth. Freedom from external validation also opens the door to authentic living. When you are no longer bound by the need for approval, you can make choices based on what feels right for you, not what will please others. You begin to pursue passions, relationships, and paths that align with your values rather than societal expectations. This authenticity not only deepens your connection to yourself, but also attracts people and opportunities that resonate with your true essence. The journey of detaching from external validation is not always easy. It requires unlearning deeply ingrained habits and facing the discomfort of standing in your truth, even when it is met with disapproval. But the rewards far outweigh the challenges. As you let go of the need for external approval, you reclaim your power. You stop living for others and start living for yourself. Your confidence grows not because others praise you, but because you trust in your own worth. Detaching from external validation is an act of liberation. It is a return to your authentic self, free from the distortions of societal expectations and judgments. It is a recognition that your worth is not something to be earned, it is something to be embraced. When you stop seeking approval from others, you discover that the only validation you ever needed was your own. This is the path to true freedom, peace, and self-empowerment. It is the realization that you are already enough, just as you are. It is easy to fall into the illusion that the world operates independently of you, that circumstances simply happen, and you are at their mercy. But look closer, and you will notice patterns. The same kinds of challenges, relationships, or opportunities seem to recur, almost as if life is presenting you with a reflection of your inner state. If you feel unworthy, the world will mirror situations that reinforce that belief. If you hold thoughts of abundance and gratitude, life will unfold in ways that affirm those qualities. The world is neutral. Neither for nor against you, it simply reflects who you are within. This truth can be both liberating and challenging. It is liberating because it places the power to shape your experiences firmly in your hands. No longer are you a victim of circumstances, you are the creator of them. But it is also challenging because it calls for radical responsibility. It requires you to examine your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs without blame or judgment. The mirror of the world shows you not what you want to see, but what you need to see in order to grow and align with your higher self. When life presents difficulties, the immediate reaction is often to resist or blame external factors. Yet resistance only perpetuates the very struggles you wish to escape. The mirror reflects resistance back to you in the form of persistent challenges. Instead, approach these moments with curiosity and introspection. Ask yourself, what is this experience trying to show me about my inner world? What belief or fear am I holding on to that is manifesting in this way? The answers may not always be comfortable, but they are essential for transformation. The power of this reflection becomes even more apparent in relationships. The people you encounter are often mirrors of aspects of yourself, both the parts you embrace and those you resist. A difficult relationship may highlight unresolved insecurities, while a supportive one can affirm your strengths. This does not mean others are solely projections of you, but rather that they reveal the dynamics you carry within. By recognizing this, you can approach relationships with greater compassion and awareness, understanding that they are opportunities for growth, rather than sources of validation or conflict. As you begin to see the world as a mirror, you realize the futility of trying to manipulate the reflection without addressing the source. Just as a physical mirror cannot alter the image it reflects, the outer world cannot change unless your inner world does. If you seek peace, cultivate peace within yourself. If you desire love, embody love in your thoughts and actions. The more you align with the qualities you wish to experience, the more the world will mirror them back to you. This is not a mystical process, but a natural law of resonance, like attracts like, and your inner state shapes your external reality. Gratitude is a powerful tool in this process. By appreciating what is already present in your life, you shift your focus from lack to abundance. The mirror of the world responds by reflecting more reasons to feel grateful. Gratitude is not merely a reaction to what you receive, it is a state of being that aligns you with the flow of life. It transforms the way you see the world, allowing you to notice opportunities and blessings that may have been obscured by a mindset of scarcity. It is important to approach this process with patience. The world's reflection may not change immediately because deeply ingrained beliefs and patterns take time to shift. Trust in the process and remain consistent in your inner work. The mirror does not lie, but it may take time to reveal the full extent of your transformation. Each moment is an opportunity to refine your inner state, knowing that the outer world will follow in time. The mirror of the world is not separate from you. It is an extension of your consciousness, a living testament to the power you hold within. It reveals the harmony or discord of your inner self, inviting you to align more fully with your true nature. When you understand this, life becomes less of a struggle and more of a dialogue, a continuous conversation between your inner world and the reflection you see outside. Every moment, the mirror offers you a chance to grow, to shift, and to create anew. It is not there to judge or punish, but to guide and awaken you to your potential. By embracing this truth, you step into your power as the creator of your experience. You no longer see the world as something to be feared or controlled, but as a faithful partner in your journey. The mirror of the world is always present, waiting for you to recognize the beauty and power of the reflection it holds. The essence of self-ownership is the understanding that you are the sole creator, governor, and architect of your life. It is the profound realization that no external force, circumstance, or individual holds the power to dictate who you are or what you become. To own yourself fully is to recognize that you alone are responsible for your thoughts, emotions, decisions, and actions. This is not a burden but an extraordinary gift, one that grants you the freedom to shape your destiny with intention and clarity. Life often tempts us to relinquish this power. We look to others for validation, rely on circumstances to define our worth, or blame external forces for our misfortunes. Yet, the moment you give away responsibility for your life, you give away your power. To live as the master of your own experience, you must reclaim this power by accepting full ownership of yourself. This is not an act of defiance but of liberation, for it sets you free from the illusions of control that the external world holds over you. Self-ownership begins with the acknowledgement that your thoughts create your reality. Every belief you hold, every assumption you accept, and every story you tell yourself shapes the lens through which you view the world. If your inner dialogue is one of doubt, fear, or limitation, your external experiences will reflect these states. Conversely, when you cultivate thoughts of empowerment, confidence, and abundance, life begins to mirror these qualities back to you. The law of self-ownership invites you to take charge of your mental landscape, knowing that it is the foundation upon which your reality is built. With self-ownership comes the understanding that you are not a passive recipient of emotions, but their creator. Feelings do not arise out of nowhere, they are the product of your interpretations and responses to life. To own your emotions is to accept that no one can make you feel anything without your consent. While others may trigger certain responses, it is ultimately your choice to nurture those feelings or release them. By taking responsibility for your emotional state, you free yourself from the reactive patterns that keep you bound to suffering. The decisions you make are another cornerstone of self-ownership. Every choice, no matter how small, carries the weight of shaping your future. To own yourself is to make decisions consciously, guided not by fear or obligation, but by your inner truth. This requires courage, for it often means walking a path that others may not understand or approve of. Yet, when you honor your own voice, you align with your authentic self, creating a life that reflects your deepest values and desires. Owning yourself also means taking full responsibility for your actions and their consequences. This does not imply perfection. Mistakes are inevitable and valuable teachers. What matters is how you respond to them. When you take ownership of your missteps, you gain the power to learn, grow, and course correct. Blame and excuses only serve to disempower you, keeping you stuck in a cycle of victimhood. True self-ownership is about accountability, not judgment. It is the recognition that every action, whether it leads to success or failure, is an opportunity to evolve. Another critical aspect of self-ownership is the ability to set boundaries. To own yourself fully, you must recognize where you end and others begin. This means saying no to what does not serve you and yes to what aligns with your truth. Boundaries are not walls to keep others out, but expressions of self-respect and clarity. When you honor your boundaries, you teach others how to treat you and create space for authentic relationships that nurture rather than drain you. Self-ownership is not about isolation or self-centeredness. It is about reclaiming your inherent power so you can contribute meaningfully to the world. When you own yourself, you stop seeking validation from others, freeing your energy to focus on what truly matters. This allows you to show up as your most authentic self, offering your unique gifts and perspectives without fear of rejection or judgment. True self-ownership enhances your ability to connect with others, because it comes from a place of wholeness rather than need. Embracing the law of self-ownership also involves releasing the illusion of control over others. Just as you are responsible for yourself, so too are others responsible for their own lives. Trying to fix, change, or control someone else is not only futile, but also a violation of their sovereignty. By letting go of this tendency, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and allow others the dignity of their own journey. This shift in perspective fosters mutual respect and harmony in your relationships. The law of self-ownership is not a one-time realization but a lifelong practice. It requires ongoing awareness and commitment to align your thoughts, emotions, decisions, and actions with your highest self. There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and resistance, but these are part of the process. Each challenge is an invitation to deepen your ownership, to step further into your power, and to trust in your ability to navigate life on your terms. Self-ownership is about reclaiming your birthright as a creator of your own experience. It is the recognition that your life is not something that happens to you, but something that flows from you. When you fully own yourself, you unlock the limitless potential within you, becoming the author of a story that is uniquely and unapologetically yours. This is the essence of true freedom, not the absence of responsibility, but the embrace of it, knowing that within it lies the power to create a life of purpose, fulfillment, and joy. In conclusion, the essence of life lies in turning inward, understanding your power, and embracing the profound truth that everything you seek already resides within you. The world is not something to conquer or change, but a reflection of your inner state. By focusing on your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, you reclaim your power and step into the role of the creator of your own experience. You do not need external validation or comparison, for your worth is inherent, your purpose is unique, and your journey is yours alone. As you cultivate this awareness, you will see that the path to fulfillment, abundance, and peace begins with self-ownership. By aligning with your inner truth, you transform your reality, not through force, but through resonance. Trust in the process, honor your boundaries, and take responsibility for the magnificent power within you. Life will mirror back the beauty and strength you carry, leading you to a destiny of your choosing. Thank you for listening, and may you walk forward with clarity, courage, and unwavering belief in the power of your inner self. There is a timeless truth that governs the workings of life, and love what is meant for you cannot be missed. The moment you plant the seed of desire within your mind, it begins to take root. But the key to its fulfillment is not in the frantic chase, but in the quiet assurance that it is already yours. You must understand, dear one, that the world you see is merely a reflection of your inner state. If you believe that love is something to pursue, to chase, to grasp with desperation, you will find yourself running endlessly. But if you rest in the truth that love is a natural expression of who you are, then love will find its way to you without effort. Stillness is the most profound power you possess. In a world constantly moving, where people rush to fulfill their desires and chase fleeting goals, it is the one who can sit in quiet assurance who commands life's unfolding. Stillness is not idleness, it is the calm, deliberate awareness that the fulfillment of your desires is already within you. It is the recognition that nothing outside of you has the power to grant you what you seek. You connect to the infinite power of creation. When you are still, you quiet the noise of doubt, fear, and desperation. You silence the voice that says you must act, fight, or struggle to receive. Instead, you tune into a deeper truth. Everything you desire already exists within the invisible realm, and it is your inner state that draws it forth into the visible. The moment you still your mind, you step into harmony with the forces that shape your world. People often believe that action is the key to getting what they want. They run, chase, and exhaust themselves trying to manipulate circumstances. But their frantic efforts only create resistance, because they operate from a state of lack. They believe they must do in order to have. This is the great illusion. True power does not come from doing, it comes from being. And to be requires stillness. Stillness is not passive. It is the active choice to align with the state of fulfillment, to rest in the feeling of having already received. When you sit quietly and imagine your desire as a present reality, you are performing the most potent act of creation. You are planting the seed of your desire in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. From there it grows, nourished by your faith and conviction, until it inevitably manifests in your experience. When you are still, you do not chase. You do not plead or force. You simply allow. You trust that the universe knows the perfect way to bring your desire to you, in the perfect time. Your task is not to figure out the how or the when. Your task is to stay anchored in the knowing that it is done. This knowing is the essence of stillness. It is the quiet confidence that life is working in your favor, even when you cannot yet see the results. Stillness also allows you to hear the whispers of intuition. When your mind is cluttered with worry or overrun with endless plans, you miss the subtle guidance that comes from within. But when you are still, you open the channel to receive inspiration. The ideas, insights, and opportunities begin to flow to you effortlessly. You no longer have to struggle to make things happen, because you are aligned with the natural flow of creation. The power of stillness lies in its ability to shift your state of being. When you are still, you move from a state of lack to a state of abundance. You stop focusing on what is missing and start embodying the feeling of fulfillment. And it is this feeling, not your actions, that shapes your reality. The world reflects your inner state like a mirror. If you are restless, anxious, or doubtful, your world will reflect that. But if you are still, calm, and assured, your world will mirror that peace and bring forth your desires with ease. Stillness is an act of surrender, but not in the sense of giving up. It is the surrender of resistance. It is letting go of the need to control and trusting that life's wisdom is greater than your own. When you surrender, you step out of the way and allow the forces of the universe to work on your behalf. You stop interfering with their flow and start cooperating with it. In stillness, you discover that the real journey is not about changing the external world, but about transforming within. It is about becoming the person who naturally attracts what they desire. When you are still, you allow yourself to feel as though your desire is already fulfilled. This feeling is the bridge that connects the invisible with the visible, the unmanifested with the manifested. Stillness is a practice. It requires patience and faith. There will be moments when the urge to act impulsively or to doubt creeps in. But in those moments, return to stillness. Remind yourself that there is nothing to fear, nothing to force. All you need is already yours. Sit with that truth. Breathe it in. Let it settle into every corner of your being. The greatest movements of life arise from stillness. The seed does not strain to grow, it simply rests in the soil, trusting the process of life. The same is true for you. Rest in the soil of your own inner knowing. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly. Be still and know that you are already complete. In this stillness, you unlock the limitless power within you, and the world bends to reflect your state of grace. Imagination is the invisible hand that shapes the reality you experience. Every structure, every invention, every moment of beauty or triumph began first as an image in someone's mind. Before it was seen in the physical world, it was felt, envisioned, and brought to life in the realm of imagination. This is the secret to creation. The world you live in is merely a reflection of the thoughts and images you hold within. When you grasp the power of imagination, you realize that nothing is truly beyond your reach. Your imagination is the workshop of creation. It is here that you build the blueprint for the life you desire. Yet many people misuse this power. Instead of imagining possibilities, they dwell on fears, failures, or limitations. They replay the worst-case scenarios in their minds and wonder why their lives mirror these fears. They do not realize that their imagination, whether consciously directed or not, is constantly creating their reality. To harness the power of imagination, you must understand that it works in alignment with your feelings and beliefs. It is not enough to simply think about what you want, you must feel it as though it is already real. When you imagine yourself living the life you desire, fully immersed in the experience, your subconscious mind begins to accept this as your truth. The subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It takes your inner vision as fact and works tirelessly to bring it to fruition. Think of your imagination as the canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your life. Every detail matters. If you want abundance, imagine yourself surrounded by prosperity. Feel the joy and relief of having more than enough. See the details clearly. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Let those feelings saturate your being. This act of creative imagining is not a mere exercise, it is the foundation upon which your future is built. The key is to imagine from the end. Do not imagine yourself desiring or striving for your goal, as that only reinforces the state of lack. Instead, place yourself in the scene where your desire is already fulfilled. If it is love you seek, imagine yourself in a loving relationship. Feel the warmth, the companionship, the laughter. Make it real in your mind. By doing so, you are telling the universe, this is who I am. And the universe responds by aligning your reality with your new identity. This power, however, requires discipline. It is not enough to imagine once or twice and then revert to old patterns of doubt and worry. You must persist in your vision, even when there is no immediate evidence that your desire is on its way. Faith is the bridge that connects your imagination to reality. When you persistently hold an image in your mind, with faith that it will come to pass, you set into motion forces that are beyond your conscious understanding. Your imagination is also the key to overcoming obstacles. When faced with challenges, do not dwell on the problem. Instead, use your imagination to see the solution. Envision yourself already victorious, already thriving. This mental shift not only changes your perspective, but also opens the door for solutions to reveal themselves. Your imagination is not bound by the limitations of logic or circumstances. It sees beyond what is and focuses on what can be. The beauty of imagination is that it allows you to become the architect of your own destiny. You are not a victim of circumstances or a puppet of fate. You have the power to create, to shape, to design the life you want. But this power requires you to take responsibility for your thoughts. You must choose your inner images with care, knowing that they will shape the world around you. Imagine boldly, without fear or doubt. Do not limit yourself by what seems possible or practical. Remember, the purpose of imagination is to transcend the limitations of the present moment and reach into the infinite realm of possibility. Trust in this process. What you vividly imagine with feeling and faith must come to pass. This is not a matter of chance, but of law. In the quiet moments of your day, close your eyes and enter the world of imagination. Build there the life you wish to live. Make it as real and vivid as you can. Then carry the feeling of that imagined reality into your waking moments. Let it guide your actions, your decisions, and your interactions. Over time, you will see that your outer world begins to shift, aligning itself with the vision you have held within. Letting go does not mean giving up on your desires. It means surrendering the need to control how and when they manifest. It means moving from a state of lack to a state of faith. This faith is not blind optimism, but a deep knowing that life is working in your favor, even if you cannot yet see the results. When you let go, you shift your focus from external striving to internal alignment. This shift is where true power lies. The act of letting go requires patience and trust, both of which can feel challenging in a world that glorifies hustle and instant gratification. But remember, the greatest transformations often occur in stillness. When you stop chasing and start trusting, you open yourself to possibilities that you might have overlooked in your frantic pursuit. You begin to notice the subtle signs, the intuitive nudges, and the opportunities that were always there but hidden from your view. Another key to releasing the need to chase is cultivating a sense of worthiness. Often the impulse to chase stems from a subconscious belief that you are not enough as you are, that you must earn or prove your worth to receive what you want. But the truth is, you are already deserving. Your worth is inherent and unchanging. When you embrace this truth, you no longer feel the need to grasp or cling. Instead, you attract effortlessly because you radiate confidence and self-assurance. Releasing the need to chase is an act of self-love. It is a declaration that you trust yourself and the unfolding of your journey. It is choosing peace over desperation, alignment over effort, and faith over fear. When you embody this state, you become magnetic. You draw to you the people, circumstances, and opportunities that resonate with your energy. You no longer have to chase, because everything you desire flows naturally into your life. The paradox of letting go is that it often accelerates the manifestation of your desires. When you stop chasing, you stop creating resistance. You step into the flow of life, where things happen with ease and grace. This doesn't mean you sit idle, it means you take inspired action from a place of alignment and trust, rather than from a place of fear and lack. As you release the need to chase, you will find a sense of freedom. No longer bound by the pressure to pursue, you can focus on becoming the best version of yourself. You can nurture your dreams, follow your passions, and enjoy the present moment, knowing that everything you desire is already on its way. Trust in this process. Let go of the chase and watch as life begins to unfold in ways that are far greater than you could have imagined. The state of being is the foundation of everything you experience in life. It is the silent force shaping your reality, often without your conscious awareness. While action has its place in the physical world, it is secondary to the state from which you act. The most transformative and fulfilling outcomes arise not from frantic activity, but from a state of being that is aligned with your desires. To truly create the life you want, you must focus on your state of being first, allowing your actions to flow naturally and effortlessly from that inner alignment. The world often glorifies action. It rewards busyness, hustle, and relentless effort. Society teaches that if you want something, you must chase it, fight for it, and never stop until you achieve it. But what if this constant striving is not the way to true fulfillment? What if the most effective path begins not with doing but with being? Your state of being, the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs you carry within determines the quality of your actions and the results they produce. Action that arises from a state of doubt, fear, or lack will always fall short, no matter how much effort you put in. When you prioritize your state of being, you are aligning yourself with the outcomes you desire. Think of it as tuning a radio. You cannot hear your favorite station unless you first adjust the dial to the correct frequency. In the same way, you cannot attract what you truly want unless you align your state of being with the frequency of those desires. This alignment happens through feelings, thoughts, and beliefs that resonate with the life you wish to create. When you embody the state of someone who already has what they want, your actions become natural expressions of that state. Consider this: a person who feels abundant will naturally take actions that reflect abundance. They will make decisions confidently, share generously, and embrace opportunities with ease. On the other hand, a person who feels scarcity, even if they work tirelessly, will approach life with hesitation, fear, and a tendency to hold back. Their state of being undermines their actions. The difference is not in the effort, but in the energy behind the effort. This is why focusing on your state of being is so essential. It ensures that every action you take is infused with the power to manifest your desired outcome. The key to cultivating the right state of being is self-awareness. Take time to observe your inner world. What are you feeling? What thoughts dominate your mind? Are they aligned with what you want to create, or are they rooted in fear and doubt? Awareness is the first step toward transformation. Once you recognize the state you are in, you can consciously choose a new one. This is not about forcing yourself to feel something you don't truly believe, but about gently shifting your focus toward the emotions and thoughts that support your desired reality. Visualization and imagination are powerful tools for aligning your state of being. When you vividly imagine yourself living the life you desire, your mind begins to accept it as your reality. Close your eyes and see yourself as the person you want to be. Feel the emotions of already having what you seek. Let that feeling saturate your being. This practice is not about escaping the present, but about creating a new inner reality that will inevitably manifest outwardly. When your state of being changes, your actions and experiences follow suit. Trust plays a significant role in shifting from action-driven to being-centered living. Trust that the universe, or the higher power you believe in, is working in harmony with your intentions. Trust that you don't need to control every detail or force outcomes. This trust allows you to relax into your state of being, knowing that it is enough to set the wheels of creation in motion. When you act from a place of trust, your actions are inspired and effortless, rather than forced and exhausting. It is important to remember that action is not the enemy. It is a necessary part of life, but it must be the servant of your state of being, not the master. Action taken from alignment is powerful and effective. It feels natural, as if you are being carried by a current rather than swimming against it. You may still work hard, but the work will feel joyful and purposeful, because it is in harmony with your inner state. The key is not to abandon action, but to ensure it flows from a place of clarity and alignment. This principle applies to every area of life. In relationships, for example, trying to win someone's affection through relentless effort rarely works. True connection arises from a state of being that radiates love, confidence, and authenticity. In career and business, success comes not from working yourself to exhaustion, but from embodying the qualities of someone who is already successful: vision, confidence, and a sense of purpose. When you focus on your state of being, you reclaim your power. You realize that you are not at the mercy of external circumstances. Instead, you are the creator of your reality. Everything begins within, and when you align your inner world with your desires, the outer world responds in kind. This is not magic, it is a fundamental truth of existence. By prioritizing your state of being over action, you unlock a life of greater ease, joy, and fulfillment. You become a living example of the profound truth that who you are is far more important than what you do. Letting go of resistance is one of the most liberating choices you can make. Resistance is the invisible wall that blocks your flow, the inner tension that keeps you disconnected from the peace, joy, and abundance that are naturally yours. It shows up in subtle ways: doubts, fears, frustrations, or the need to control every outcome. Yet the very act of resisting what is creates a cycle of struggle, leaving you trapped in patterns that prevent you from moving forward. To let go of resistance is to release the weight that holds you down and to step into a life of freedom and ease. Resistance often stems from the mind's attachment to how things should be. We create rigid expectations about how events should unfold, how others should behave, or how quickly we should achieve our goals. When reality does not conform to these expectations, resistance arises. It manifests as frustration, impatience, or even despair. The more tightly we cling to these expectations, the more we suffer. This suffering is not caused by the situation itself, but by our refusal to accept it as it is. The goal of resistance begins with awareness. You must first notice when and where resistance is present in your life. It could be in the form of a lingering resentment, an unresolved fear, or a constant feeling of pushing against something. Pay attention to your emotions and your body. Resistance often reveals itself as tension, a tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, or a racing mind. These signals are your invitation to pause, reflect, and let go. To let go does not mean to give up or resign yourself to an undesirable fate. It means to release the inner struggle against what is. It means to accept the present moment fully, not because you necessarily like it, but because resisting it will not change it. Acceptance is not passive. It is a powerful act of surrender that aligns you with the flow of life. When you accept what is, you create space for transformation. You move from a place of resistance to one of possibility. The key to releasing resistance lies in shifting your focus. Instead of obsessing over what is wrong, turn your attention to what feels good, what inspires you, or what you can appreciate right now. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to resistance. It redirects your energy from lack to abundance, from frustration to contentment. By focusing on what you are grateful for, you soften the grip of resistance and open yourself to the natural flow of life. Letting go of resistance also requires trust. Trust that life is unfolding exactly as it should, even if it does not match your expectations. Trust that every challenge carries within it the seed of growth, and that every delay serves a purpose. When you trust the process, you no longer feel the need to force outcomes or control every detail. Instead, you can relax into the rhythm of life, knowing that you are always being guided toward your highest good. One of the most effective ways to release resistance is through mindfulness. Mindfulness brings you into the present moment, where resistance cannot exist. Resistance thrives in the stories your mind creates about the past or future regrets, about what has been or worries about what might come. In the present moment, there is only what is, and in that space you can find peace. Practice mindfulness by observing your thoughts without judgment, focusing on your breath, or simply being fully present with whatever you are doing. Another practice that helps in letting go of resistance is self-compassion. Often resistance is directed inward. We resist our own imperfections, mistakes, or feelings of vulnerability. This inner resistance creates a cycle of shame and self-criticism that keeps us stuck. By practicing self-compassion, you can break this cycle. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a dear friend. Acknowledge your struggles without judgment, and remind yourself that it is okay to be human. Letting go of resistance does not mean you stop pursuing your goals or dreams. It means you stop fighting against the current and start flowing with it. When you let go of resistance, your actions become inspired rather than forced. You are no longer driven by fear or frustration, but by a sense of joy and alignment. This shift in energy makes all the difference. What once felt like an uphill battle now feels effortless. Opportunities arise, solutions present themselves, and progress happens naturally. Resistance often disguises itself as control. We believe that if we can just manage every detail, we can make things go our way. But control is an illusion. The more we try to control, the more resistance we create. True power comes from surrender, not control. Surrender does not mean giving up, it means letting go of the need to force outcomes and trusting that life will unfold in the best possible way. Paradoxically, it is in surrender that you find your greatest strength. When you let go of resistance, you open yourself to the flow of life. You align with the natural rhythm of the universe, where everything happens in its perfect time and order. You become a co-creator with life, rather than its adversary. The energy you once spent on struggle and frustration is now available for creativity, joy, and growth. Letting go of resistance is not a one-time event, it is a daily practice, a continual choice to release and trust. Life becomes infinitely more beautiful when you let go of resistance. You no longer carry the heavy burden of trying to control the uncontrollable. You free yourself to experience the present moment fully, and to embrace the endless possibilities that arise when you are in flow. Let go of resistance, and you will discover a deeper peace, a greater ease, and a life that feels as if it is unfolding perfectly, just as it is meant to be. Ladies, understand this truth: you are the master sculptor of your own life. A relationship does not define you, it is a reflection of the love you hold for yourself. When you engage with a man, let it be from a place of strength, not lack. Too often, women forget their power and sacrifice their authenticity. Today we will explore the 9 actions a woman must avoid with a man to remain aligned with her higher self. Your self-worth is the foundation upon which your entire life rests. It is not something to be negotiated, diminished, or handed over to anyone, regardless of who they are or the role they play in your life. When a woman compromises her self-worth, she relinquishes a part of her divine essence, that sacred core that defines her as powerful, unique, and whole. To compromise your self-worth for a man, or for anyone, is to deny the truth of who you are, a being of infinite value, deserving of respect, love, and fulfillment. At the heart of self-worth is the understanding that you are inherently valuable, not because of what you do, how you look, or what you can offer to others, but simply because you exist. This value is not bestowed upon you by someone else, it is your birthright. However, in the complexities of relationships, especially with men, it can be easy to forget this truth. Society has long conditioned women to prioritize others over themselves, to seek validation outside of themselves, and to measure their worth based on their ability to please, serve, or conform. But this conditioning is a lie. The moment you place your worth in the hands of someone else, you give them the power to define it, and they will never define it as high as you should. When you compromise your self-worth, you send a silent message to yourself and to others that you are not enough. This might manifest as tolerating disrespect, accepting less than you deserve, or staying in situations that deplete rather than nourish you. Perhaps it is enduring criticism disguised as constructive feedback, or maybe it is settling for a relationship that lacks genuine love, mutual respect, or reciprocity. Each of these actions chips away at your self-esteem, making it harder to remember the truth you are worthy of everything you desire. The danger of compromising your self-worth is that it often happens gradually. It might start with a small concession, a decision to overlook a red flag, to let a hurtful comment slide, or to accommodate someone else's needs at the expense of your own. Over time, these seemingly insignificant choices accumulate, creating a pattern where your needs and desires are consistently placed second. And what is the result? You begin to feel invisible, unimportant, or even unworthy of love and respect. But none of this is true. These feelings are not a reflection of your actual worth, but rather the consequences of forgetting to honor it. To refuse to compromise your self-worth is to declare to the universe and to yourself that you are enough, just as you are. It is to set boundaries that protect your energy and to demand the respect you inherently deserve. This does not mean arrogance or entitlement, it means self-respect. It means recognizing when someone's actions or words diminish your light and having the courage to walk away if necessary. It means valuing your peace, your happiness, and your authenticity above the approval of others. In relationships, maintaining your self-worth can be especially challenging because love often blurs the lines between compromise and sacrifice. Love, true love, does require compromise, but it should never come at the expense of your dignity or self-respect. Sacrificing your principles, tolerating mistreatment, or silencing your voice for the sake of keeping the peace is not love, it is fear. Fear of losing the relationship, of being alone, or of not being enough. But these fears are illusions, and the price of succumbing to them is far too high. A man who truly values you will never ask you to compromise your self-worth. He will see your strength, your brilliance, and your individuality as assets, not threats. He will uplift you, support you, and respect your boundaries. And if he doesn't, it is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a sign that he is not aligned with your journey. Do not cling to someone who cannot recognize your value. To do so is to betray yourself. Learning to honor your self-worth begins with self-awareness. Pay attention to how you feel in your interactions. Do you feel empowered, respected, and valued? Or do you feel small, unimportant, or diminished? Your emotions are a guide, alerting you to situations that either affirm or negate your worth. Listen to them and act accordingly. Surround yourself with people who uplift and celebrate you, and distance yourself from those who drain your energy or undermine your confidence. Recognizing and maintaining your self-worth also requires letting go of the need for external validation. Too often women seek approval from others to feel valued, but this approval is fleeting and unreliable. True self-worth comes from within. It is a quiet, unshakable confidence that does not waver based on external circumstances. Cultivate this confidence by affirming your value daily. Remind yourself of your strengths, your achievements, and your unique qualities. And most importantly, remind yourself that you are enough always. The journey to honoring your self-worth is not always easy. It may require unlearning years of conditioning, confronting fears, and making difficult decisions. But the reward is freedom, the freedom to live authentically, to love deeply without losing yourself, and to create a life that reflects your highest potential. Do not let anyone, no matter how much you love them, take this freedom away from you. Your self-worth is not just about how you see yourself, it is about how you teach others to see you. By refusing to compromise your self-worth, you set a standard for how you expect to be treated. And when you hold firm to that standard, the right people will rise to meet it. The wrong ones will fall away, but that is their loss, not yours. You were not made to shrink to settle, or to silence your voice. You were made to shine. Honor that truth, and the world will reflect it back to you. Happiness is an inner state, a reflection of the harmony within your soul. It is not something to be given or taken by another, no matter how close or cherished they may be. To depend solely on a man for your happiness is to relinquish control over your emotional well-being, placing your joy in the hands of someone who cannot bear the weight of such responsibility. True happiness is not found in another person. It is cultivated within you, born from self-awareness, self-love, and a deep connection to your inner being. The idea of seeking happiness through others is rooted in the illusion that we are incomplete on our own. Many women grow up with the belief that a relationship or a partner will complete them, that their lives will only reach fulfillment when they find the right man. While love and companionship can indeed enrich life, they are not the source of true contentment. Happiness derived from external sources is fleeting, for external circumstances are ever-changing. To depend on a man for your joy is to tie your emotional state to something outside your control, leaving you vulnerable to disappointment and heartbreak. When a woman depends solely on a man for happiness, she places an undue burden on him and the relationship. This dependency can create a dynamic where she looks to him for validation, reassurance, and emotional support, often at the expense of her own growth and independence. Over time, this reliance can lead to resentment, both hers for feeling unfulfilled despite his efforts, and his for feeling the pressure to constantly meet her emotional needs. This dynamic is neither healthy nor sustainable, for no one person can be the sole source of another's happiness. Happiness is an internal journey, a process of aligning with your true self. It begins with self-love, the ability to appreciate and value yourself for who you are, independent of anyone else's opinion or presence. When you cultivate self-love, you free yourself from the need for external validation. You no longer look to a man or anyone to fill an emotional void, because you have already filled it with your own light. This does not mean you reject love or relationships. Rather, you approach them from a place of wholeness, where your happiness enhances the connection rather than depending on it. To depend solely on a man for happiness also limits your personal growth. It is easy to lose sight of your passions, interests, and aspirations when your focus is entirely on the relationship. You may begin to mold your life around his needs, desires, and goals, neglecting your own in the process. Over time, this can lead to a sense of emptiness or loss of identity. But you were not created to live in someone else's shadow. You were made to shine in your own right, to pursue your dreams and passions, and to live a life that reflects your unique essence. The key to lasting happiness lies in nurturing your inner world. This involves developing a strong sense of self, embracing your individuality, and finding joy in your own company. Spend time exploring your passions, cultivating your talents, and pursuing the things that bring you fulfillment. When you create a life that is rich and meaningful on your own, you bring a sense of completeness to your relationships. You are no longer looking for someone to make you happy. Instead, you are sharing your happiness with them. This self-reliance does not mean isolating yourself or rejecting support from others. It simply means recognizing that your happiness is your responsibility. It is about understanding that no one else, not even the most loving partner, can fully satisfy your inner needs. Happiness is an inside job, a reflection of the love and peace you cultivate within yourself. When you take ownership of your emotional well-being, you empower yourself to create a life of joy and fulfillment, regardless of your relationship status. In relationships, this self-sufficiency allows you to give and receive love more freely. When your happiness is not dependent on a man, you are free from fear and attachment. You do not cling to the relationship out of a need to feel complete, nor do you place unrealistic expectations on your partner. Instead, you approach the relationship from a place of abundance, where love is a choice, not a necessity. This creates a healthy, balanced dynamic where both partners can thrive as individuals while growing together. When you stop depending on a man for happiness, you also free him to be himself. You release him from the pressure to constantly meet your emotional needs, allowing the relationship to flourish naturally. This space fosters mutual respect, trust, and understanding, as both partners are able to contribute to the relationship without feeling burdened or constrained. It is important to remember that happiness is not a destination but a journey. It is not something you achieve once, and for all it is a practice, a daily commitment to nurture your inner world. This means taking time to care for your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being, setting boundaries that honor your needs, and cultivating gratitude for the blessings in your life. When you prioritize your happiness in this way, you create a solid foundation for love to grow. A relationship should complement your happiness, not define it. A man can be a wonderful companion on your journey, but he is not the journey itself. By taking responsibility for your own joy, you reclaim your power and create a life that reflects your highest potential. You were not made to depend on anyone for your happiness. You were made to be the source of your own light, radiating love and fulfillment from within. When you embrace this truth, you open the door to relationships that are not built on dependency, but on mutual respect, love, and shared joy. Disrespect, in any form, is a direct attack on your dignity and worth. It erodes the foundation of trust and harmony in any relationship, leaving behind a residue of hurt, resentment, and insecurity. To tolerate disrespect is to teach others that it is acceptable to disregard your feelings, needs, and boundaries. It is to allow an environment where you are diminished instead of cherished, silenced instead of heard. No matter how strong your feelings for someone may be, disrespect must never be ignored, justified, or accepted. Often starts subtly, disguised as sarcasm, dismissive remarks, or a lack of consideration for your time or emotions. It can be easy to brush these instances aside, convincing yourself they are minor or unintentional. But even the smallest acts of disrespect can grow into patterns that undermine your confidence and sense of self-worth. Each time you tolerate such behavior, you signal that it is permissible, inadvertently inviting more of the same. Over time, this creates a cycle that can be difficult to break, leading to deeper pain and a diminished sense of self. At its core, disrespect is a reflection of a lack of regard for your value as a person. It may manifest as harsh criticism, constant interruptions, ignoring your input, or even outright verbal or emotional abuse. In relationships, it can take the form of dismissing your feelings, belittling your achievements, or prioritizing someone else's needs and desires over yours. These actions, no matter how subtle or overt, chip away at the mutual respect and care that are essential for a healthy connection. Tolerating disrespect often stems from a fear of confrontation or loss. You may tell yourself that the behavior isn't worth addressing, that it will improve on its own, or that challenging it might jeopardize the relationship. However, avoiding the issue only empowers the person to continue their behavior. Confronting disrespect is not about creating conflict, it is about setting boundaries that protect your peace and affirm your worth. When you stand up against disrespect, you reclaim your power and assert your right to be treated with kindness and dignity. One of the reasons people tolerate disrespect is the belief that they can fix the other person, or that the behavior is a temporary flaw. While it's true that everyone has moments of imperfection, consistent disrespect is a sign of deeper issues that cannot be ignored. It is not your responsibility to change someone else's behavior, nor should you bear the emotional burden of their inability to treat you with respect. The only behavior you can control is your own, and that includes deciding what you will and will not accept in your interactions with others. Refusing to tolerate disrespect is an act of self-love and self-preservation. It requires the courage to recognize when someone's actions are harmful and the strength to address it directly. This doesn't mean responding with anger or hostility. It means calmly and firmly communicating your boundaries. For example, if someone speaks to you in a demeaning tone, you might say, "I feel disrespected when you speak to me like that, and I need you to address me with respect." This approach not only asserts your boundaries, but also gives the other person an opportunity to reflect on their behavior and make changes. It is important to acknowledge that not everyone will respond positively to your boundaries. Some may deny their actions, shift blame, or dismiss your concerns. In such cases, you must decide whether the relationship is worth continuing. While it can be difficult to walk away from someone you care about, staying in an environment of persistent disrespect is far more damaging. You deserve relationships that uplift and support you, not ones that leave you feeling unworthy or undervalued. Disrespect is not limited to romantic relationships. It can occur in friendships, family dynamics, or professional settings. Regardless of the context, the principle remains the same: you have the right to be treated with respect, and you have the responsibility to uphold that standard. This might mean distancing yourself from toxic friendships, addressing family members who cross boundaries, or confronting a colleague who undermines your contributions. Each instance of standing up for yourself strengthens your confidence and reinforces your self-worth. It is also crucial to recognize and address any patterns of self-disrespect. Sometimes the way we allow others to treat us is a reflection of how we treat ourselves. If you often put others' needs before your own, tolerate unacceptable behavior, or fail to honor your own boundaries, you may be unintentionally setting the stage for others to do the same. Cultivating self-respect involves treating yourself with kindness, prioritizing your well-being, and refusing to accept less than you deserve. Refusing to tolerate disrespect does not make you difficult, selfish, or unkind. It makes you strong, self-aware, and principled. It sets a standard for how you expect to be treated and teaches others to value your presence. When you hold firm to your boundaries, you create space for healthy, respectful relationships to flourish. You also inspire others to recognize and honor their own worth, creating a ripple effect of empowerment and respect. Life is too short to spend in the company of those who do not see your value. You were not made to endure mistreatment, to shrink in the presence of others, or to silence your voice to keep the peace. You were made to stand tall, to shine brightly, and to demand the respect you deserve. By refusing to tolerate disrespect, you honor yourself and create a life filled with connections that celebrate your worth. You are worthy of love, kindness, and respect. Never settle for less. In any form is a clear signal that your value is not being acknowledged. It undermines your dignity, diminishes your confidence, and creates an environment that is neither nurturing nor supportive. Tolerating disrespect, whether out of love, fear, or complacency, is an act of self-betrayal. It sends a message to yourself and others that your boundaries are not worth upholding and your worth is negotiable. However, you are deserving of respect simply because you exist, and it is your responsibility to demand it, first from yourself and then from those around you. Disrespect often begins subtly, with a dismissive comment, a broken promise, or a disregard for your feelings. These moments might seem insignificant, easy to overlook or excuse. Perhaps you tell yourself that it was unintentional or that you are overreacting. But disrespect has a cumulative effect. Each small instance erodes your self-esteem and chips away at the foundation of your relationship, whether it is with a partner, a friend, or a family member. What starts as a single act can quickly become a pattern if left unchallenged, and patterns have the power to shape your reality. To tolerate disrespect is to normalize behavior that devalues you. It teaches the other person that their actions have no consequences, encouraging them to continue and possibly escalate their behavior. Worse, it teaches you to doubt your own worth and to silence your voice in the face of mistreatment. You may begin to rationalize their actions, convincing yourself that they didn't mean it or that you deserve it. This self-deception can trap you in a cycle of acceptance, where disrespect becomes the norm rather than the exception. Addressing disrespect requires clarity and courage. First, you must recognize it for what it is: a breach of your boundaries and a denial of your value. This can be difficult, especially if you care deeply about the person involved. Love and loyalty can blind you to behavior that would otherwise be unacceptable, but love cannot exist without respect. Any relationship built on a foundation of disrespect is unstable and ultimately harmful, no matter how strong your feelings may be. Once you have identified disrespect, you must confront it. This is not about anger or retaliation. It is about asserting your boundaries with firmness and dignity. For example, If someone speaks to you in a way that feels belittling or dismissive, you might say, "I find that tone disrespectful, and I expect to be spoken to with respect." Such a statement is clear, direct, and leaves no room for ambiguity. It communicates your boundaries without resorting to hostility, giving the other person an opportunity to reflect and adjust their behavior. Not everyone will respond positively to such boundaries. Some may dismiss your concerns, deny their actions, or even blame you for their behavior. This reaction can be painful, especially if you hope for understanding or change. But their response is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to yourself, to uphold your standards and protect your well-being. If someone refuses to respect you after you have clearly communicated your boundaries, it may be necessary to distance yourself or even end the relationship. Walking away from a relationship, especially one where there is love or history, can feel like a loss. But tolerating disrespect is a greater loss, the loss of your self-respect, your peace, and your authenticity. Letting go of relationships that do not honor your worth creates space for those that do. It allows you to surround yourself with people who uplift and support you, who treat you with kindness and consideration. It is also important to examine your own relationship with self-respect. Often the way others treat us mirrors the way we treat ourselves. Do you honor your own boundaries? Do you speak to yourself with kindness and compassion? Do you prioritize your needs and advocate for your well-being? If you struggle with self-respect, you may unconsciously tolerate disrespect from others, believing it to be the best you can expect or deserve. Cultivating self-respect is a powerful act of self-love. It involves recognizing your inherent worth, setting boundaries that reflect that worth, and refusing to settle for anything less. Refusing to tolerate disrespect does not mean being harsh or unyielding. It means valuing yourself enough to demand kindness and consideration from those around you. It means having the strength to walk away from situations or relationships that do not align with your worth. It is not about punishing others, but about protecting yourself. Disrespect should never be seen as a reflection of your value, rather. It is a reflection of the other person's inability to honor and appreciate you. Life is too short to spend in environments where you are not respected. You were not created to endure mistreatment or to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You were created to stand tall, to shine brightly, and to demand the respect you deserve. This is not arrogance, it is self-awareness. It is the recognition that respect is not something you earn by compromising yourself, it is something you are entitled to by virtue of your humanity. The choice is always yours. You can choose to accept disrespect, hoping it will change, or you can choose to stand up for yourself, knowing that you deserve better. The latter choice may be harder, requiring strength and resilience, but it is the choice that honors your worth and preserves your integrity. By refusing to tolerate disrespect, you send a powerful message to yourself and to the world that you are worthy of love, kindness, and respect. And when you stand in that truth, you inspire others to treat you accordingly. Your true desires are the whispers of your soul, guiding you toward the life you are meant to live. Suppressing them is like silencing the voice of your own spirit, denying yourself the fulfillment and joy that come from pursuing what genuinely resonates with your being. Too often, people suppress their desires out of fear of judgment, rejection, failure, or even success. But in doing so, they deny their authenticity and abandon the path that leads to their highest potential. To suppress your desires is to shrink from life itself, and it is a choice that robs you of the richness and purpose you were meant to experience. Desires are not random or trivial, they arise from the depths of your consciousness, pointing you toward what will bring you growth, happiness, and self-realization. Yet, society often conditions us to prioritize external expectations over internal longings. You may have been taught to suppress your dreams to fit into a mold, to avoid making waves, or to gain approval from others. This conditioning leads many to live lives of quiet resignation, fulfilling roles that please others while feeling unfulfilled inside. But your desires are sacred, they are not there to be ignored or dismissed. They are your compass, directing you toward your true purpose. Suppressing your desires often stems from a fear of vulnerability. To express what you truly want is to reveal a part of your innermost self, which can feel intimidating. What if others don't understand or approve? What if you fail? These fears can lead you to bury your desires, convincing yourself that they are impractical or unimportant. But suppressing your desires does not make them disappear, it only creates inner conflict. Your soul knows what it wants, and when you deny it, you feel restless, unfulfilled, and disconnected from yourself. One of the most common reasons people suppress their desires is the belief that pursuing them is selfish. Women, in particular, are often conditioned to prioritize the needs of others over their own. You may feel that pursuing your dreams means neglecting your responsibilities or letting someone down. But this is a false narrative. Honoring your desires is not selfish, it is an act of self-love. When you align with what truly fulfills you, you become a better version of yourself, and this positively impacts everyone around you. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and suppressing your desires will eventually leave you depleted. Living in alignment with your true desires requires courage. It means being honest with yourself about what you want, even if it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. It means giving yourself permission to dream without limitations and to pursue those dreams without apology. This may involve making difficult decisions, such as walking away from relationships or situations that no longer serve you or stepping into the unknown. But the alternative, continuing to suppress your desires, is far more damaging. It keeps you stuck in a life that feels incomplete, constantly yearning for something more. When you suppress your true desires, you also suppress your creative power. Your desires are the spark that ignites your imagination and fuels your ability to create the life you want. By denying them, you block the flow of energy and inspiration that drives transformation. Imagine planting a seed and then refusing to water it because you are afraid it won't grow. The potential is there, but it cannot flourish without your belief and action. Your desires are like that seed, they need your attention and commitment to bloom. The journey of honoring your desires begins with self-awareness. Take time to reflect on what truly matters to you. What lights you up? What dreams have you buried under layers of doubt and fear? Allow yourself to reconnect with those dreams, no matter how far away they may feel. Write them down, visualize them, and hold space for them in your heart. This process is not about figuring out all the answers or mapping out every step. It is about acknowledging and embracing your desires as valid and worthy. It is also essential to release the need for external validation. Your desires do not need to make sense to anyone else, they only need to resonate with you. The approval of others is fleeting and unreliable, but the fulfillment of living in alignment with your truth is enduring. Trust that the desires placed within you are there for a reason, and that the universe will support you in bringing them to fruition. As you begin to honor your true desires, you will encounter resistance both from within and from others. Your mind may try to convince you that you are not capable or deserving. Others may project their fears and limitations onto you, questioning your choices or discouraging you from taking risks. But this resistance is not a sign to give up. It is an opportunity to strengthen your resolve. Remember that your desires are uniquely yours, and no one else can fully understand their importance to you. Living in alignment with your desires does not mean you will never face challenges or setbacks. But it does mean that you will be living authentically, guided by your inner truth, rather than external expectations. This authenticity brings a sense of peace and fulfillment that cannot be achieved by suppressing your dreams. It allows you to create a life that feels meaningful and true to who you are. You were not born to live a life of compromise and suppression. You were born to shine, to create, and to experience the fullness of your potential. Your desires are not random whims, they are the roadmap to your purpose. Honor them, pursue them, and trust that by doing so, you will not only transform your own life but also inspire others to do the same. Giving is a beautiful expression of love, kindness, and connection, but it must be balanced with reciprocity to ensure that your efforts are honored and your energy is preserved. When you give endlessly without receiving in return, you create a dynamic that is not only unsustainable but also depletes your sense of self-worth. Giving without reciprocity is not an act of love, it is an act of self-neglect. It implies that your needs and boundaries are secondary, which invites imbalance and can foster resentment over time. Relationships, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, must be founded on mutual respect and exchange. Without this, giving becomes a one-sided transaction that leaves you empty and undervalued. To give without expecting anything in return might sound noble, but it is often misunderstood. True giving does not mean sacrificing yourself for the benefit of others without regard for your own needs. It means sharing your energy, time, and resources in a way that feels balanced and fulfilling. Reciprocity is not about keeping score, it is about ensuring that the relationship is equitable. When you give and receive in balance, it creates a flow of energy that strengthens connections and fosters mutual growth. Many people give excessively out of a desire to feel needed or loved, believing that their worth is tied to their ability to provide for others. This mindset often stems from a fear of rejection or inadequacy. You may think, if I give enough, they will appreciate me, or if I sacrifice for them, they will love me. But this approach rarely leads to the desired outcome. Instead, it sets a precedent for others to take you for granted. When you consistently prioritize others' needs above your own, you teach them to do the same. Over time, this erodes your self-esteem and leaves you feeling unseen and unappreciated. Reciprocity is not about demanding equal exchanges in material terms. It is about the balance of effort, respect, and care. For example, if you consistently initiate communication, plan activities, or provide emotional support in a relationship while the other person contributes little to nothing, the imbalance becomes evident. While you may not expect an exact return on every action, there should be a sense of mutual effort and appreciation. Without this, the relationship can become draining and one-sided, where your giving is met with indifference or entitlement. Learning to give with intention and discernment is crucial. Before offering your time, energy, or resources, ask yourself why you are giving. Are you doing it out of genuine care and willingness, or are you giving out of obligation, guilt, or a desire for validation? Giving from a place of authenticity feels light and joyful, while giving from a place of obligation or fear feels heavy and burdensome. When you give with the hope of receiving love or approval, you place your worth in the hands of others, making it contingent on their responses. This creates an unhealthy dynamic where your happiness depends on external validation. Healthy giving involves setting boundaries and knowing when to say no. Boundaries are not walls, they are guidelines that protect your well-being and ensure that your giving remains sustainable. They allow you to share your energy without depleting yourself. Saying no does not make you selfish, it makes you self-aware. It ensures that you are not overextending yourself or giving more than you can afford emotionally, physically, or financially. It also communicates to others that your time and energy are valuable, which encourages them to treat you with respect. When you give without reciprocity, you may also deprive others of the opportunity to contribute. Relationships thrive when both parties feel involved and invested. By allowing others to give to you, you create a space for them to express their care and appreciation. Receiving graciously is just as important as giving generously. It acknowledges the other person's efforts and reinforces the balance within the relationship. When you resist receiving, you may unintentionally send the message that their contributions are unnecessary or unwelcome, which can hinder the relationship's growth. In some cases, people take advantage of those who give without limits. These individuals may see your generosity as an opportunity to exploit your kindness rather than as an invitation to reciprocate. This can be particularly damaging, as it not only depletes your resources but also erodes your trust in others. Recognizing these dynamics early on is essential to protect yourself. Pay attention to patterns in your relationships. Do they consistently show gratitude and reciprocate in their own way, or do they habitually take without giving back? Awareness of these patterns can help you make informed decisions about where and how to invest your energy. Giving in a way that honors reciprocity also means being honest with yourself and others about your expectations. While you may not expect something tangible in return, it is fair to expect respect, gratitude, and effort. Communicating your needs openly ensures that both parties understand and value each other's contributions. It also prevents misunderstandings and resentment, which often arise when unspoken expectations go unmet. Giving without reciprocity is unsustainable. It leaves you feeling drained, unappreciated, and disconnected from your own needs. By embracing reciprocity, you create relationships that are balanced, fulfilling, and supportive. You honor not only the needs of others, but also your own, fostering a dynamic that allows both parties to thrive. Remember, your worth is not determined by how much you give, but by the respect and care you cultivate for yourself and others. When you give with intention and receive with gratitude, you create a harmonious flow of energy that enriches both your life and the lives of those around you. Walking away is one of the most powerful actions you can take, yet it is often one of the most feared. The idea of leaving behind a relationship, a job, or a situation that no longer serves you can feel overwhelming. Fear creeps in, whispering doubts and uncertainties. What if I regret this? What if I can't find anything better? What if I end up alone? These fears are natural, but they are rooted in a misunderstanding of your power and worth. Walking away is not an act of defeat, it is an act of self-respect, courage, and alignment with what you truly deserve. When something in your life no longer supports your growth or happiness, walking away is often the wisest choice you can make. Fear of walking away often stems from a scarcity mindset, the belief that there is nothing else out there for you. This mindset convinces you that if you leave, you will lose everything, and nothing better will take its place. But this is a lie born from fear, not truth. The truth is that your life is abundant with opportunities, and by holding on to something that no longer serves you, you are blocking the space needed for something better to enter. Letting go is not about loss, it is about making room for the blessings that align with your highest good. Another source of fear is attachment. When you invest time, energy, and emotion into something, it becomes difficult to let go, even when it is harming you. You may hold on to a toxic relationship because you have history with the person. You may stay in a job that drains you because you've built a career there, but attachment should not outweigh your well-being. Your time and energy are precious, and staying in situations that deplete you is not an act of loyalty, it is an act of self-sacrifice. Walking away does not erase your investment, it honors the lessons you've learned and frees you to apply them in new and healthier ways. Walking away is not about giving up, it is about choosing yourself. It requires you to listen to your intuition and acknowledge when something no longer aligns with your values or needs. Too often, people ignore their inner voice out of fear of the unknown. But your intuition is your greatest guide, constantly nudging you toward what is right for you. Trusting that voice, even when it leads you into uncertainty, is an act of faith in yourself and the universe. It is a recognition that you deserve better, and that better is possible. Some people fear walking away because they worry about how others will perceive them. They fear being judged as selfish, weak, or ungrateful. But the opinions of others are not your responsibility. You cannot live your life for the approval of others and expect to find happiness. Walking away is an act of self-empowerment, and those who truly care about you will understand and support your decision. Those who don't may reveal that they were more invested in their own needs than in your well-being. Your life is your own, and it is not up to anyone else to dictate how you should live it. Walking away also requires you to face the discomfort of change. Humans are creatures of habit, and even when a situation is unhealthy, it can feel safer to stay than to step into the unknown. But growth and transformation require change. You cannot cling to the familiar and expect to evolve. Walking away is a leap of faith, a declaration that you are willing to face uncertainty in order to align with your true self. It is a reminder that you are capable of creating the life you desire, even if the path is unclear at first. The process of walking away is not easy, but it is liberating. It teaches you to trust yourself, to prioritize your happiness, and to release what no longer serves you. Each time you walk away from something that isn't right for you, you strengthen your self-worth and reaffirm your belief in your ability to create a better future. You begin to see that walking away is not an ending, but a beginning, a doorway to new opportunities, relationships, and experiences that are in alignment with your growth. It is important to remember that walking away does not mean you failed. On the contrary, it means you succeeded in recognizing when something was no longer serving you and had the courage to let it go. Failure would be staying in a situation that stifles your potential, drains your energy, and diminishes your joy. Walking away is an act of triumph, a refusal to settle for less than you deserve. When you walk away, do so with grace. Let go of resentment, anger, or bitterness, for these emotions will only weigh you down. Instead, walk away with gratitude for the lessons learned and the strength gained. Every experience, even the painful ones, contributes to your growth and wisdom. Walking away does not erase the past, it honors it while freeing you to move forward. Walking away is an act of love for yourself and for the life you are creating. It is a statement that you value your happiness and well-being enough to leave behind what no longer serves you. It is a declaration that you trust yourself to navigate the unknown and to create a life that aligns with your worth. So do not fear walking away. Embrace it as a necessary step in your journey toward the life you deserve. You are not losing, you are choosing yourself, your growth, and your boundless potential. In conclusion, walking away from situations, relationships, or circumstances that no longer align with your growth and well-being is one of the most empowering decisions you can make. It is not an act of failure, but one of self-respect and strength. By choosing yourself, you are creating the space for greater opportunities and blessings to enter your life. Trust in your ability to recognize when something no longer serves you and have the courage to let go. Know that by walking away, you are affirming your worth and your capacity to move forward with grace, confidence, and purpose. Thank you for listening, and remember, you have the power to shape your life by making the choices that honor who you truly are. Imagine for a moment that all the limitations you've placed on your life are but illusions, barriers you've unconsciously accepted. Now consider this: the infinite power of God resides not outside of you, but within you, waiting to be awakened. This power is ready to reshape your reality in ways that will leave you in awe. The infinite power within you is the key to transforming your life. It's not something external or distant, it's an ever-present force that resides at the core of your being, waiting for your recognition and activation. This power is God's essence, manifesting in and through you, capable of creating realities that surpass all logic and understanding. To grasp this truth is to step into a life of miracles, where the boundaries of possibility dissolve, and the extraordinary becomes your everyday experience. Many go through life feeling powerless, searching for answers outside of themselves, believing that external circumstances or other people hold the key to their happiness. But this is a grand misunderstanding. The truth is, everything you seek already exists within you. The creative force that brought the universe into being, the same power that causes the sun to rise and the stars to shine, dwells in you as your very essence. It is the divine spark that connects you to the infinite source of all creation. This power operates through the medium of your imagination and belief. Whatever you imagine with clarity and conviction, and believe to be true, will inevitably find its way into your experience. It's not a question of whether the power works, it always works, as consistently and reliably as the law of gravity. The real question is, are you using it consciously or unconsciously? Are you directing it toward the life you desire? Or are you allowing it to be shaped by doubt, fear, and negative patterns? The mind is the gateway to this infinite power. Your thoughts and feelings are the seeds you plant in the fertile soil of your subconscious. When you think thoughts of abundance, joy, and love, and when you feel as though these things are already yours, you activate the creative process. Your subconscious, being infinitely intelligent, orchestrates events, circumstances, and opportunities that align with your inner state. It doesn't question or analyze, it simply responds to the impressions you impress upon it. This is why it's vital to guard your thoughts and emotions. The power within you is neutral. It will create whatever you focus on, whether it's something you desire or something you fear. Many people unknowingly misuse this power, focusing on lack, limitation, and what they don't want, and then wondering why these things show up in their lives. But when you understand that the outer world is merely a reflection of your inner world, you take back your power. You realize that by changing your inner state, you change your external reality. Faith is the cornerstone of this process. Faith is more than a religious concept. It is a deep, unshakable knowing that what you desire is already yours. It's the bridge that connects your current reality to the reality you wish to experience. When you have faith, you no longer need to see physical evidence to believe in your desire's fulfillment. You trust in the unseen, in the invisible workings of the infinite power within you. This trust allows you to relax and let go of the need to control every detail. You don't need to know how or when your desire will manifest. You only need to hold the vision and remain aligned with the feeling of having it. The how and when are not your concern. They are the domain of the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all creation. Your role is to remain steadfast in your faith and to act as though your desire is already a reality. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when the external world seems to contradict your inner vision. This is natural, but it is not a reason to give up. Doubt is simply a test of your faith, an opportunity to strengthen your conviction. When faced with doubt, return to the feeling of your desire fulfilled. Remind yourself that the infinite power within you is greater than any obstacle or challenge. What you focus on expands, so focus on the reality you wish to create. This power doesn't operate in a vacuum. It works in perfect harmony with the universe. When you align with it, you'll notice synchronicities, unexpected events, and opportunities that seem to come out of nowhere. These are not coincidences. They are the physical manifestation of the creative process at work. As you continue to trust and align with this power, these synchronicities will become more frequent and more remarkable. It's important to understand that this power is not limited to a select few. It's not reserved for the special or chosen. It is available to every person, regardless of their background, circumstances, or beliefs. The only requirement is your willingness to acknowledge and use it. The moment you decide to claim this power as your own, you step into a new way of living, one where you are no longer at the mercy of circumstances, but are the deliberate creator of your reality. So, living in alignment with this power requires a shift in perspective. It requires you to stop looking at the world as something separate from you and to see it instead as a mirror reflecting your inner state. It requires you to take responsibility for your life, not in a burdensome way, but in an empowering way. You are not a victim of life, you are the author of it. Every thought, every feeling, and every belief is a brushstroke on the canvas of your reality. As you cultivate this awareness, you will begin to see evidence of the infinite power within you. You'll notice how effortlessly things fall into place when you align with your desires. You'll feel a sense of peace and assurance, knowing that you are always supported by a force far greater than yourself. This is the essence of true freedom, not freedom from challenges, but freedom in knowing that no challenge is greater than the power within you. The infinite power within you is the expression of God's love for you. It is a reminder that you are not separate from the divine, but are one with it. This power is not something you need to earn or achieve. It is your birthright. All that is required is your recognition of it and your willingness to use it for good. When you fully embrace this truth, your life will transform in ways that defy explanation. You will step into a realm of limitless possibilities, where miracles are the norm and where the extraordinary becomes your everyday reality. This is the power of God within you, an infinite, creative force that is always ready to bless, guide, and uplift you. The question is not whether this power is real. The question is whether you will claim it as your own. Life is full of surprises, yet we often cling to routines, expectations, and familiar patterns. We create mental frameworks of how we think things should unfold, attaching ourselves to specific outcomes and timelines. But the truth is, the divine force that governs the universe operates in ways far beyond human comprehension. When we open ourselves to the idea that the unexpected can bring about our greatest blessings, we allow this force to work its wonders in our lives. When you set an intention or focus on a desire, you ignite a powerful creative process. But this process does not follow the linear path the human mind expects. Instead, it weaves through infinite possibilities, drawing together the perfect people, places, and opportunities to bring your desire into being. This weaving often defies logic and reason, which is why it's so important to release control and surrender to the flow. Surrender does not mean giving up, it means letting go of rigid expectations about how things should unfold. It means trusting that the divine intelligence knows the best way to bring your desires to life. Too often, people miss the blessings that come their way because they are so fixated on one specific outcome. They fail to see that the unexpected might be the answer they've been waiting for, packaged in a form they didn't anticipate. Consider the countless stories of individuals who faced what seemed like setbacks, only to discover later that these were setups for something far greater. A job loss leads to a career breakthrough. A closed door reveals a path to a better opportunity. A perceived failure becomes the catalyst for unimaginable success. These moments remind us that the unexpected is not something to fear but something to embrace. It is often the hand of the divine moving in ways we cannot yet see. The unexpected also teaches us to remain present. When we are rigid in our thinking, we become preoccupied with the future, constantly worrying about outcomes and missing the magic of the moment. But when we embrace the unexpected, we allow ourselves to live fully in the now. We become more attuned to the subtle nudges of intuition and the signs that guide us toward our desires. These signs often appear in the most unlikely forms: a chance encounter, a random comment, or an intuitive feeling that defies logic. Opening yourself to the unexpected requires cultivating a mindset of faith and curiosity. Faith allows you to trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, even when it doesn't appear that way. Curiosity keeps you open to exploring new possibilities and seeing challenges as opportunities for growth. Together, these qualities create a powerful foundation for navigating the unknown. Faith is particularly important because it anchors you in the belief that the divine intelligence is always working in your favor. Even when circumstances seem chaotic or uncertain, faith reminds you that there is a higher order at play. It allows you to remain calm and centered, knowing that every twist and turn is leading you closer to your desires. Faith transforms obstacles into stepping stones and setbacks into setups for breakthroughs. On the other hand, keeps you open to seeing the beauty and potential in every situation. When you approach life with curiosity, you stop labeling experiences as good or bad and start viewing them as opportunities to learn and grow. Curiosity invites you to explore the unexpected with a sense of wonder rather than fear. It helps you recognize that every experience, no matter how unusual or challenging, is a part of your journey. The unexpected often challenges our beliefs and pushes us out of our comfort zones. It asks us to let go of old patterns and step into new ways of being. This can be uncomfortable, but it is also where the greatest growth occurs. When you embrace the unexpected, you allow yourself to evolve into the person you are meant to be. You discover strengths you didn't know you had and develop resilience that prepares you for even greater blessings. It's also important to remember that the unexpected doesn't always come in dramatic or life-changing events. Sometimes it shows up in small, seemingly insignificant moments: a sudden insight, an unexpected act of kindness, or a new perspective on an old problem. These moments, though subtle, have the power to shift your trajectory in profound ways. They remind you that the divine is always present, working behind the scenes to bring about your highest good. To fully embrace the unexpected, practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is present. It opens your heart to receive the blessings that are already in your life and prepares you to welcome even more. When you are grateful, you create a vibrational match with abundance, signaling to the universe that you are ready for more of the same. Gratitude also helps you see the hidden gifts in the unexpected, turning challenges into opportunities and surprises into blessings. Another way to cultivate openness to the unexpected is through visualization and affirmations. When you visualize your desires, don't get caught up in the details of how they will manifest. Instead, Focus on the feeling of already having them. Trust that the divine intelligence will work out the how in the most extraordinary ways. Affirmations can also reinforce this trust, reminding you to stay open and receptive to the infinite possibilities around you. The beauty of the unexpected lies in its ability to expand your vision and deepen your connection to the divine. It reminds you that life is not a fixed script, but a dynamic, ever-unfolding masterpiece. When you release your need for control and embrace the mystery of the unknown, you allow the divine to surprise you in the most delightful ways. The unexpected is a gift. It challenges your assumptions, broadens your perspective, and brings you closer to your true self. It teaches you to trust in the infinite intelligence that guides all things and to see life as an adventure filled with endless possibilities. So the next time life surprises you, instead of resisting, lean into it. Trust that the unexpected is part of the divine plan, and know that it is leading you to something far greater than you could have imagined. Faith is the unseen force that bridges the gap between what is and what could be. It is the foundation upon which miracles are built, the invisible thread that connects your desires to their manifestation. Faith is more than mere belief. It is a deep, inner knowing that transcends logic and external circumstances. It is the assurance that what you seek is not only possible but already on its way to you, even if there is no evidence to support it yet. In life, we are often conditioned to rely on what we can see, touch, and measure. This reliance on the physical senses creates a limited perspective, making it difficult to trust in what we cannot yet perceive. But faith operates in the unseen realm, beyond the tangible. It asks you to believe in the reality of your desire before it manifests. This is not an act of blind optimism, but of conscious alignment with the infinite intelligence that governs all creation. Faith is the engine that drives your creative power. When you focus on a desire and believe in its fulfillment, you activate the creative forces of the universe. Your belief impresses upon the subconscious mind, which in turn begins to orchestrate events, opportunities, and circumstances to bring your desire into being. But this process requires unwavering faith. Doubt disrupts it, creating resistance that slows or even prevents manifestation. Faith is not passive, it is an active, dynamic force. It requires you to align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you wish to create. This alignment is key because faith without corresponding action is incomplete. Acting in faith means moving through life as though your desire is already fulfilled. It means making decisions and taking steps that reflect your belief in its inevitability. This action is not forced or frantic, but inspired and guided by the deep inner knowing that your desire is on its way. Challenges and obstacles often arise as tests of faith. These moments are not signs of failure but opportunities to deepen your trust in the divine process. When faced with difficulty, it is easy to revert to doubt and fear. But faith asks you to stand firm, to see beyond appearances, and to hold on to the vision of your desired reality. It is in these moments of uncertainty that faith is strengthened, becoming the unshakable foundation upon which miracles are built. One of the greatest gifts of faith is the peace it brings. When you truly believe in the fulfillment of your desires, you no longer feel the need to worry or strive. You trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, even if the path is not yet clear. This trust allows you to let go of anxiety and to rest in the assurance that the universe is working in your favor. Faith transforms waiting into a joyful anticipation, a confident expectation that what you seek is already yours. Faith also expands your capacity to receive. Often, people limit themselves by focusing on what they think is possible rather than on what they truly desire. They let doubt and fear dictate the scope of their dreams, settling for less than they deserve. But faith removes these limitations, allowing you to dream boldly and expect abundantly. It opens your heart and mind to the infinite possibilities available to you, aligning you with the miraculous. Cultivating faith requires a shift in perspective. It means seeing beyond the physical world and recognizing the spiritual reality that underlies all things. It means understanding that the external world is a reflection of your internal state, and that by changing your inner beliefs, you can transform your outer circumstances. This perspective allows you to see challenges not as barriers, but as stepping stones, guiding you toward your desires. Gratitude is a powerful tool for strengthening faith. When you focus on what you already have and give thanks for it, you align yourself with abundance. Gratitude shifts your attention from lack to sufficiency, creating a vibrational match with the reality you wish to experience. It is an act of faith because it affirms that you trust in the goodness of life and the fulfillment of your desires. Visualization is another way to cultivate faith. When you visualize your desires as already fulfilled, you create a mental picture that impresses upon your subconscious mind. This image, combined with the feeling of having your desire, activates the creative process. Visualization helps you to see beyond appearances and to anchor your faith in the reality of your vision. Faith is also deeply connected to love. When you love yourself and others unconditionally, you align with the divine nature of the universe. This alignment strengthens your faith because it reminds you of your oneness with the source of all creation. Love dissolves fear and doubt, creating a clear channel for the miraculous to flow into your life. Faith is the bridge that connects your desires to their manifestation. It is the invisible force that allows you to move from hope to certainty, from longing to fulfillment. It is the assurance that the universe is always working in your favor, orchestrating events in ways you cannot yet see. Faith is the key to unlocking the infinite possibilities that are your birthright, the foundation upon which miracles are built. When you live in faith, you align yourself with the divine flow of life, opening the door to blessings beyond anything you could imagine. Trust in this process, even when the path is unclear. Hold on to your vision, even when doubt arises. Know that your faith is the catalyst that transforms the invisible into the visible, the unmanifested into the manifested. Through faith, you become a co-creator with the divine, stepping into a life where miracles are not the exception but the norm. Transformation begins within, through the renewal of the mind. Every change you seek in the outer world must first take root in the inner world of your thoughts and beliefs. The mind is the fertile soil where the seeds of transformation are planted, nurtured, and eventually brought to life. When you change the way you think, you change the way you live. This renewal is not a mere adjustment of ideas, but a profound shift in consciousness that allows you to step into a new reality. The mind is a powerful tool, capable of shaping your experience of life. Yet many allow their thoughts to be dictated by external circumstances, reacting to the world rather than creating from within. True transformation requires breaking free from this reactive state and taking control of your mental landscape. It is a deliberate process of identifying and discarding limiting beliefs, replacing them with empowering truths that align with the life you desire. Renewing your mind begins with awareness. You must become conscious of the thoughts that dominate your inner dialogue. Are they rooted in fear, doubt, and lack? Or do they reflect love, faith, and abundance? Often, the mind is cluttered with habitual patterns of thinking that have been ingrained over years, even decades. These patterns may have served a purpose in the past, but they can become barriers to growth if left unchecked. Awareness is the first step to breaking free from these mental chains. Once you are aware of your thought patterns, the next step is to challenge them. Ask yourself whether your beliefs serve your highest good. Are they aligned with the reality you wish to create? Many beliefs are not absolute truths but interpretations shaped by past experiences, societal conditioning, or the opinions of others. By questioning the validity of these beliefs, you create space for new, empowering ideas to take root. Renewal of the mind requires a willingness to let go of the old to make way for the new. This can be uncomfortable, as the mind often clings to familiarity, even when it no longer serves you. Letting go is an act of trust, a surrender to the process of transformation. It is a recognition that the life you desire cannot coexist with the limitations of your current mindset. You must release what no longer aligns with your vision to make room for what does. Visualization is a powerful tool in the renewal process. When you visualize, you create a mental image of the reality you wish to experience. This image serves as a blueprint for your subconscious mind, guiding your thoughts and actions toward its fulfillment. Visualization is not just about imagining your desires, it is about feeling them as if they are already real. This feeling creates a vibrational match with your desired reality, drawing it closer to you. Affirmations are another effective method for renewing the mind. By repeating positive statements that reflect your desired reality, you reprogram your subconscious mind with empowering beliefs. Affirmations serve as reminders of your intentions, reinforcing the new thought patterns you wish to cultivate. They help to counteract the negative self-talk that often arises during the transformation process, keeping you focused and aligned with your vision. The renewal of the mind also requires consistency. Transformation is not a one-time event, but an ongoing journey. It demands daily commitment to nurturing your new thoughts and beliefs, especially in the face of challenges. The old patterns will attempt to resurface, tempting you to revert to familiar ways of thinking. But with persistence, the new patterns will become the dominant force, shaping your reality in alignment with your desires. It is important to recognize that the renewal of the mind is a holistic process. It involves not only your thoughts but also your emotions and actions. Your emotions are powerful indicators of your mental state. When you feel joy, peace, and gratitude, you align yourself with the frequency of your desires. Conversely, feelings of fear, anger, or despair signal a need to realign your thoughts with your vision. Your actions must also reflect the transformation you seek. Acting as though your desires are already fulfilled reinforces the new mental patterns you are cultivating. This alignment between thought, emotion, and action creates a harmonious flow that accelerates the manifestation of your desires. One of the most profound aspects of renewing your mind is the realization that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts, the consciousness that chooses which ideas to entertain and which to release. This realization empowers you to step out of the victim mentality and into the role of a deliberate creator. You are not at the mercy of your circumstances or past experiences. You are the architect of your reality. Faith plays a crucial role in the renewal process. Faith is the bridge between your current reality and the one you wish to create. It is the assurance that your efforts will bear fruit, even when the results are not yet visible. Faith allows you to persist in the face of doubt and to trust in the unseen forces working on your behalf. It is the foundation upon which transformation is built. Gratitude is another cornerstone of transformation. When you cultivate gratitude, you shift your focus from what is lacking to what is already present. This shift creates a sense of abundance, which attracts more of the same into your life. Gratitude also reinforces the new mental patterns you are cultivating, anchoring them in the present moment. As you renew your mind, you begin to see the world through a new lens. Challenges become opportunities for growth, and setbacks become stepping stones to success. You realize that life is not happening to you, but for you, offering countless opportunities for expansion and self-discovery. This shift in perspective is the essence of transformation. Transformation through the renewal of the mind is not just a change in circumstances, but a shift in your entire being. It is a return to your true self, the limitless creator within. By renewing your mind, you align with the divine flow of life, opening the door to infinite possibilities. Trust in the process, commit to the journey, and watch as your life transforms in ways beyond your imagination. Divine timing is one of life's greatest mysteries, a concept that challenges the human desire for control and instant gratification. It operates on a plane far beyond human comprehension, orchestrating events, circumstances, and opportunities in ways that align perfectly with the grand design of the universe. While we often strive to force outcomes or rush through life, divine timing reminds us that everything happens not when we want it to, but when it is meant to. It is a sacred rhythm, a cosmic dance that ensures the unfolding of events at precisely the right moment for the highest good. At the heart of divine timing is trust. It requires surrendering your need to dictate how and when your desires will manifest. This is not a passive resignation, but an active faith in the intelligence that governs all things. Divine timing operates in harmony with universal laws, aligning your desires with the right conditions, people, and opportunities. Trusting in this timing means releasing your attachment to the outcome and allowing the process to unfold naturally, without resistance or fear. Human impatience often stands in opposition to divine timing. In our fast-paced world, we are conditioned to seek immediate results, believing that delays signify failure or rejection. But in the realm of the divine, there are no delays, only preparation. What may appear as stagnation or denial is, in fact, the universe aligning all the necessary elements for the perfect manifestation of your desires. Divine timing ensures that you receive what you need, not merely what you want, and that it arrives in the form that will best serve your growth and fulfillment. One of the challenges of embracing divine timing is the uncertainty it brings. The human mind craves certainty, seeking reassurance through plans, schedules, and predictions. But divine timing often operates in the unseen realm, beyond the grasp of logic and reason. It requires you to let go of the need to know how or when your desires will materialize, and to rest in the assurance that the universe is always working on your behalf. This surrender is an act of profound trust, a recognition that the divine plan is infinitely wiser than your own. Patience is a vital companion to trust in divine timing. Patience is not merely waiting, but waiting with grace and confidence. It is the ability to hold on to your vision without wavering, even when there is no visible evidence of progress. Patience allows you to remain aligned with your desires, maintaining a state of faith and gratitude that attracts your desired reality. It is a powerful demonstration of your belief in the inevitability of divine timing, a silent affirmation that everything is unfolding as it should. The beauty of divine timing lies in its precision. When the time is right, doors that once seemed closed will open effortlessly. Opportunities will arise, connections will be made, and circumstances will align in ways that are beyond coincidence. These moments often feel like miracles, a testament to the perfection of divine orchestration. What once seemed impossible suddenly becomes inevitable, as though the universe had been preparing the way all along. Divine timing is not an excuse for inaction. While it teaches us to trust and wait, it also calls us to prepare and align. Just as a gardener tends to the soil while waiting for the seeds to grow, you must nurture your inner world while awaiting the manifestation of your desires. This means cultivating the mindset, habits, and skills that align with the reality you wish to create. It means becoming the person who is ready to receive what you are asking for. Divine timing will bring the opportunities, but it is your responsibility to be prepared to embrace them. Resistance to divine timing often arises from fear of missing out, fear of failure, or fear of being forgotten. These fears stem from a limited perspective, a belief that time is running out, or that life is passing you by. But divine timing operates outside the constraints of human time. It is not bound by clocks or calendars, but flows in accordance with a higher order. Trusting in divine timing means releasing these fears and embracing the eternal nature of life. It is understanding that you are never too late or too early. You are always exactly where you need to be. Gratitude is a powerful tool for aligning with divine timing. When you focus on the blessings already present in your life, you shift your energy from lack to abundance. Gratitude creates a state of receptivity, allowing you to recognize and appreciate the small signs and synchronicities that confirm the universe is working on your behalf. It transforms waiting into a joyful anticipation, a celebration of what is to come. Gratitude reminds you that every moment, even the seemingly mundane or challenging ones, is part of the divine plan. Divine timing also teaches us the value of detours and delays. What may initially seem like obstacles often turn out to be redirections, guiding you toward a path that is more aligned with your purpose. These moments of waiting or rerouting are not punishments but blessings in disguise, offering opportunities for growth, reflection, and refinement. They remind you that the journey is just as important as the destination, and that every step, no matter how small, is part of the greater unfolding. As you align with divine timing, you begin to see life through a new lens. You recognize that every encounter, every experience, and every challenge serves a purpose. You see the interconnectedness of all things and the intricate web of events that leads to your desires. This perspective brings peace, as you no longer feel the need to force or rush, but instead trust in the natural flow of life. Divine timing is a reminder of the infinite wisdom and love that governs the universe. It teaches you to trust, to wait, and to prepare with faith and patience. It shows you that life is not a random series of events, but a beautifully orchestrated masterpiece, unfolding in perfect harmony with your highest good. When you embrace divine timing, you step into a state of alignment, allowing miracles to flow effortlessly into your life. You discover the peace that comes from knowing that everything is happening exactly as it should, at the exact moment it is meant to. Living in the feeling of fulfillment is a transformative way of experiencing life. It begins with the understanding that the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. What you carry within your emotions, beliefs, and assumptions inevitably manifests in the reality around you. Fulfillment is not something to be chased externally, but rather something to be cultivated within. When you embody the feeling of already having what you desire, you align yourself with its manifestation in the physical world. To live in the feeling of fulfillment, you must first define what fulfillment means to you. It is not a universal standard or a one-size-fits-all concept. Fulfillment is deeply personal, tied to your unique desires, goals, and aspirations. For some, it may mean financial abundance or career success. For others, it could be love, peace, or the joy of living in alignment with their purpose. Understanding what fulfillment looks and feels like for you is the foundation upon which this practice is built. Once you are clear on your vision of fulfillment, the next step is to create the emotional state that corresponds to it. This is not about pretending or forcing feelings, but about genuinely connecting to the emotions that having your desires would evoke. Imagine how you would feel if your dreams were already a reality. Would you feel joy? Gratitude? Peace? These emotions are the keys to unlocking the state of fulfillment. Visualization is a powerful tool to help you step into this feeling. Take time each day to close your eyes and imagine yourself already living your desired life. See the details vividly, hear the sounds, and most importantly, feel the emotions. If it's financial abundance you seek, imagine yourself confidently walking into a bank to deposit a large sum of money, or experiencing the freedom and peace that financial security brings. If it's love, picture yourself sharing meaningful moments with a partner, feeling cherished and adored. The more vividly you can imagine and feel this reality, the more you align yourself with its manifestation. Living in the feeling of fulfillment requires shifting your focus from what is lacking to what is already present or possible. This shift is vital because the human mind is naturally drawn to problems and shortcomings. However, dwelling on lack only reinforces its presence in your life. When you focus on fulfillment, you train your mind to recognize opportunities, blessings, and signs that align with your desires. This shift does not mean ignoring challenges, but choosing to see beyond them, trusting in your ability to overcome and rise above. Gratitude is an essential component of living in fulfillment. When you cultivate gratitude, you affirm the abundance that already exists in your life. Gratitude shifts your energy from a state of wanting to a state of having. It strengthens your connection to the feeling of fulfillment, because it reminds you that you are already blessed in countless ways. Make it a habit to express gratitude daily, whether through journaling, meditation, or simple acknowledgement of the good things in your life. As you do, you will notice your emotional state becoming more aligned with fulfillment. Acting as if is another powerful technique. When you act as if your desires are already fulfilled, you send a strong signal to your subconscious mind and the universe that you believe in the reality you are creating. This does not mean pretending or living beyond your means, but embodying the energy and behaviors that align with your desires. For example, if you seek abundance, carry yourself with confidence and generosity. If you desire love, treat yourself and others with the care and respect you would expect in a loving relationship. These actions reinforce the feeling of fulfillment and draw your desires closer. Living in the feeling of fulfillment also requires patience. While the inner state creates the outer reality, the timing of manifestation is not always immediate. The universe operates on its own schedule, aligning circumstances and events in ways that serve your highest good. Impatience can disrupt this process by introducing resistance and doubt. Patience, on the other hand, allows you to remain in alignment, trusting that your desires are on their way. It is a quiet confidence that stems from knowing that what is meant for you cannot miss you. One of the most profound shifts that comes from living in fulfillment is the realization that fulfillment is not conditional. It does not depend on external achievements, possessions, or relationships. Instead, it is a state of being that you can access at any moment. When you realize this, you free yourself from the endless cycle of chasing and grasping. you become anchored in the present, fully engaged in the beauty and abundance of the now. Living in fulfillment transforms not only your inner world but also your outer experience. As you embody the energy of your desires, you become a magnet for their manifestation. People, opportunities, and circumstances begin to align in ways that seem miraculous. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, effortlessly attracting the life you envision. This is not magic, but the natural result of living in harmony with universal laws. Living in the feeling of fulfillment is about embracing your creative power. You are not a passive observer of life, but an active participant in its creation. By aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you desire, you step into your role as a deliberate creator. You begin to experience life not as a series of random events, but as a masterpiece of your own design. The journey of living in fulfillment is one of self-discovery and transformation. It challenges you to look within, to confront your fears and doubts, and to embrace the limitless possibilities that lie within you. As you commit to this practice, you will find that fulfillment is not a destination but a way of being, a state of grace, joy, and abundance that is available to you in every moment. In conclusion, living in the feeling of fulfillment is a profound journey of aligning your inner world with the life you wish to create. It requires clarity, trust, gratitude, and the willingness to release doubt and fear. By embracing the emotions of already having your desires, acting as if they are fulfilled, and patiently trusting the process, you unlock the immense creative power within you. Fulfillment is not something you chase externally, but a state of being you cultivate within. When you embody this state, your outer world naturally transforms to mirror your inner harmony. Opportunities flow, desires manifest, and life becomes a beautiful reflection of your intentionality. Remember, fulfillment is not a destination, but a way of living, a choice to embrace abundance, joy, and gratitude in every moment. Thank you for embarking on this transformative journey of self-discovery and creation. May you continue to live in the feeling of fulfillment and witness the miracles that unfold as a result.